All right, everyone, welcome back to Dead by Dawn. We have a raid set today with, I think, half a hook stage penalty to start us off. We did have an incorrect map set earlier, but regardless, we're going to be starting off on the DDS, breaking some doors as usual in the shack area, maybe heading into the gallows to look for some survivors. And I am here with my co-caster, Cyber. How are you doing?
I am doing pretty good, pretty excited. I'm a big fan of the Wraith DDS set, and I don't know if Rainfall quite saw. I think that was Clownfish lurking there. Yeah, turned around to go catch up to him at this filler. We'll be in a pretty early find though for Rain. We'll see if they're gonna be able to convert and get a tag in this gallows area. But no, Clown gonna be able to get that stun. As if they can make pretty fast work of this chase, I don't know how much pressure these drivers are gonna be able to get on these gens.
Yeah, Khan doing a good job of wasting time on that pallet, trying to delay the break for a little bit. I think he does make this pallet, but might. Yeah, I was gonna say that's a very unsafe side of that pallet. Is gonna take the hit and head towards the water tower. We do make the water tower pallet. We also make the building next to it, and Clown is opting for the building at 4 or 7, depending on your clock. And he's pretty safe for now. He has to play this pallet, but I think he should be all right for a second. We'll have to see how this chase goes.
Yeah, pretty brave there overall, greeting that a little bit, as this is a very cross-ping matchup, as I'm pretty sure this is Russia to NA, and that hit not gonna be able to make that pallet, as we saw Nick coming in for the hit. Maybe a pallet save coming in here. We know they were close. No, not gonna be able to push in for that. The survivors will be able to identify though that it was not Bamboozle when he vaulted that window, so some of those tiles are gonna be a little bit safer now that they know, as they will also find out that the pain res is in place. So one of those generators getting a decent bit of regression hit to it. Now, do you think the survivors are going to play on the slower side and let this person sit and try to crank gens, or are they going to play more unhook fast and just try to support the tunnel out?
Well, I'm guessing that first gen popped was a double. It sounded like it was a double, as we saw a lot of the survivors stealthing at the beginning. They couldn't have rotated too early, but we probably have some progress on another generator for now. So maybe a gen in the distance might pop, but they definitely need to be splitting up now. If there is anybody rotating for the save, they cannot be found. This is pretty early in the hook stage too. And I think Rainfall wants to just guard this area down a little bit. We don't see too much progress on gens nearby. If somebody is rotating now, though, they have to come in soon because this is a bit kind of far in the open. Very, very high visibility from any areas we might choose to rotate from, but we'll have to see. But yeah, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they just three split.
Yeah. This hook is pretty far from main building, which is commonly where you want that chase to go on Wraith, or any really DDS set for that matter. As we do see the hook stage going second, they do pop. I want to say that was the main building generator, and we know that someone is still pressuring this gallows gen because of our call of Brian. It looks like we are going to choose, though, now that the hook has gone the second, to commit onto our ace Yusuke here, as it looks like they're going to be wrapping this box, but there is no pallet here. Clownfish used that earlier in the trial, so that will be a tag onto Yusuke. We'll see. With that tag coming in, are they going to be wrapping to that pole? As I think we see the head of, I want to say that is Nick going for the unhook. It looks like, though, Rain doesn't want to commit to that, wants to just take the down on Yusuke. I don't know if they're going to quite make it to this main building or this front pallet, and I think Yusuke knows it now, but oh, great pathing. Swings through the pallet, but does get hit. We'll see. Unhook comes in on the Clown, but I don't think our Wraith really cares about that right now, as it looks like they just want to pick up and maybe take another pain res to slow down those generators.
Yeah, FTP is actually allowed on this. I'm surprised that nobody is FTPing him. It might actually be on Clownfish himself, or they thought they had enough time, which they actually did. Rainfall chose not to go back to the hook and interrupt that, so a very good decision, I think, if they did have FTP on the unhooker to not FTP there. They saved a health state, and Clown now kind of in the clear a little bit. We're healthy. We do have two hook stages, but we're not even chasing him. We're chasing Nick here. And Nick is heading into the main building area, just instantly dropping that pallet, playing it safe. And I think Rain wants to find Clownfish.
I would assume so here, is a lot of those gens towards the main building side have been popped, and it looks like Brain's going to kind of slow down a little bit here and go searching for this a little bit, or at least the person lurking for the unhook. Is this is basement, so this is a pretty hard spot to get out of for the survivors. Normally you need two people, and then it even is going to be probably everyone's injured, and then maybe you don't even make it out of the shack if you're even slightly uncoordinated. As we do see the call of Brian, though, on that gen over the back of that building there. And I think that was possibly another missed skill check towards man. I couldn't quite tell. No, more Call of Brian notifications. As it looks like Rain, though, doesn't really care about that. Wants to just fully camp this out and maybe get another second stage survivor.
Yeah, might be leaving as soon as UC goes second in the basement, but yeah, that hook stage definitely coming through. Just wanted to double check to see if anybody was lurking in the basement at the last second, but yeah, we're heading towards the Call of Brine notification, and this is actually Clownfish. We're going to be kicking the gen here to get the regression and probably just committing onto him. This is a Death Hook survivor. We do kind of want an elimination, and we have two options right now. We could choose to go for Ace in the basement or Clownfish here with a pretty much fresh chase as he is healthy now. And I think, are we just interrupting this gen? Yeah, we're interrupting the gen near the gallows area, very, very close to the basement. And yeah, though this hook is very close to a lot of the generators, you do have a bit of a four-gen in this area. The survivors are doing a good job regardless of pressuring out the gens nearby.
Now, to credit the Rain, though, they do know where every survivor is. You know, Clownfish is pressuring that gen over in the back of that building towards 6 or 4, depending your clock. And then we saw both Lori and Nia pressuring this gen very close to Shack. And it looks like they're just going to choose to fully camp this, let those high progress gens go, and just take this kill and maybe play for a fresh hook survivor to get like 8 stages come for the rest of this game.
Very, very well played game by the survivors. I'm surprised Rainfall is even choosing to stay by the basement for so long. We do need a fresh hook at this point in the game. And it looks like they're actually going to be opening the gate in time. Nick gets out for free. There's no Noed or anything like that. I was a bit worried for a second for Nick there. He kind of took a bit of distance away from the exit gate. But yeah, just a 5-stage game, right, Saber?
I think so, yeah, with Yusuke dying there and Clown being second stage, that is, if not mistaken, 5 stages and 2 fresh hooks for a killer player. Very well played, like you said, from both sides. I think is they had a very good gen setup for a killer around that shack, and then the survivors just had so much pressure though. So very well played from both though. And welcome back to Glacial versus Desperate. This is the second half of the Wraith set. We have Soma on Killer. Now, Soma only needs to get 5 stages because of that 0.5 penalty. And I think they have a pretty decent build to do so, Julia. What are your thoughts on the perk choice compared to our last Wraith?
Yeah, no corrupt, no Call O'Brien. We do have no one escapes death, though, I think is the perk that's the most interesting to talk about. And already on our Meg player, not really kicking out too many doors this time. Instantly in chase. I think we see a second survivor deep in Gallows as well. Yeah, both Ace and Meg in sorry, not Gallows, Water Tower area. Ace actually greeting that pallet. Very good job by our Ace player there, but we are in pursuit, gonna be chasing towards this main pallet and instantly dropping it as well.
Yeah, pretty good start so far for our survivors, not giving up any tags yet, getting those rotations on the generators to get that gen progress going. As Ace doing a very good job here, good wrap around this tile. I don't know if they're going to quite make it to this. It looks like they just might be able to. Someone not going to be swinging, just instead going around here. Ace greeting, are we going to make it to the vault? We make it to another pallet behind this building. This Ace, Romeo, doing a very good job so far at denying this first hit, but using a decent chunk of pallets on the side of the map in the process.
Yeah, those add-ons, Swift Hunt and Shadow Dance helping out a little bit with clearing out the pallets here, but we are switching targets now onto our Meg player. Meg gonna be playing in the area that Ace I think already dropped a few pallets, so she doesn't have too much to work with. We're playing this very unsafe window, and yeah, she unfortunately loses a 50-50. Is gonna be taking the tag with Sloppy Butcher heading towards the shack area. We know a lot of pallets are still up in Gallows. And she is most likely going to be dropping the shack pellet, I would assume. Yeah, there is the shack pellet going down. But not a bad chase so far from these survivors. We have not seen it down quite yet. The first gen does pop. I would expect some more gens are on the way, especially if that was a solo gen. We might see 2 gens popping soon. And our Meg actually choosing to die under the pallet here.
Yeah, we do see Rainfall though lurking by us. I think that was an attempt at a pallet save coming in. It looks like this will be a tag onto Rainfall here. Going to be taken to the main building. I highly doubt Soma will choose to commit to that without the bamboozle perk. Main can be quite tedious sometimes. But the question is, will we have another survivor here? And I think we did catch eyes on them inside this tile, actually. Soma going to be choosing to break the door. And yes, it is our Nancy difference here. Looks like, though, Soma's going to be choosing to uncloak. Maybe a little fake here, trying to fake them out, going for this. But Nancy not any closer. As now, it looks like crawling away from this, actually. Noob going to maybe try to make it to the edge map. As for our first stage coming in, I'd say a very good start for our survivors here. 3 gens popping for what will be presumably our first hook.
Yeah, if you want to get a
Oh,
5-stage or less. Oh my gosh, was
that
that flip
flip flop?
flop? That must have been flip flop. I didn't expect that at all, Cyber, but yeah, that's gonna be Flip-Flop actually helping her. I was wondering why she was crawling away from that pallet, and that must be why. Um, but getting some Flip-Flop value, Meg going into the main building now, and yeah, if you want to play for a 5 stage or less win con, which we are playing for, given the penalty, this is kind of how you do it. We're doing a great job on the main building, and Soa actually has to leave now. We have to protect our generators. And yeah, this is looking a bit rough. I think Nia does not make this pallet though. This might be a down here. And do we have a pallet save coming through? Oh, I heard some footsteps. Oh my goodness, that was so close. But no, no pallet save coming through. This might be a basement hook though.
Yeah, and we do know now that where every survivor is Nancy was the one that actually came in for the pallet save, and we saw Ace rotating in as well, and we know that we just left the Meg towards the main building here. So a lot of information for our killer player here. We'll see if they can convert much off it. They are going to get our Pop Goes the Weasel and Eruption onto this Gallows generator here, and presumably Ace going to be on this corner generator over here deep in the Gallows, as we saw him rotating from this earlier. Yes, some very high progress there. Now, I'm very intrigued to see how Soma wants to play this. Soma is playing Pop and Sloppy, which normally you want a bit more of an aggressive style towards to get multiple Pop Goes the Weasels and a lot more Sloppy tags off. And it looks like they are going to be quite doing that. Finding, I want to say a double, but it looks like Soma just going to be choosing to kick the gen here. We'll see if these survivors are able to make anything, because I don't... Oh, no, this pallet wasn't used because the pallet save didn't come in. We actually had the flip-flop wiggle here. Looks like someone going for a little mind game, but they opened the door, and it looks like because that door is open, it is going to be the down onto Noob now. I highly doubt, yeah, Soma's going to make that same mistake twice of letting the slug happen and possibly letting that flip-flop start to get a lot more wiggle progress.
This is our second fresh of the game, and given the win con was 5 stages too fresh with a penalty, this is going to be very valuable for that win con. But I mean, yeah, still some gens in the gallows area we have to take care of. We're still at 2 generators, so I would assume the survivors got some gen progress in the meantime. They were a bit busy though with, I think there were some survivors running together in the houses. And Nia taking chase now. We're going to be dropping that pallet instantly, playing the wagon pallet. Ace is here for a hit potentially. I don't know if he's going to be taking one or not. Nia is kind of fine for now. I did see a flashlight in his hand, so I wonder if he's going to be lurking for a flashlight save or maybe a pallet save if Nia chooses to die under that pallet. Actually choosing to greet it for now, playing this very, very dangerous, and she does go down, but she is under a pallet. I don't think there's a savior coming in for now, but that will be the 3rd stage on the board. We just need 2 more to get that win.
Yeah, Rain, going on to second stage here. We saw 2 survivors. We know that far behind the buildings, Jen probably has a decent bit of progress and might even pop soon, honestly, as it looks like we're trying to cut off some survivors rotating away, and we do see, yeah, a pretty high progress Gen. That is Nancy, and we also saw Blood, so we know Meg is here as well. The only one not known as Ace, and now we do know their position as they are the one to get the unhook coming in now. As it looks like now, with this being 3rd stage, technically Nia can die, and you could still play for the win con. You just cannot give another stage, but I wouldn't be surprised if they play a little more closely for these pallet saves now to try to really deny any more hooks coming through, any more Pop Goes the Weasels at least. As it looks like choosing to commit to our Ace here. A lot of survivors electing to greed this filler here, and it looks like we're going to do it kind of again. Nope, it's going to be dropped this time by Romeo, but I don't know if they're going to quite make another round as again. I would imagine these survivors are on a decent bit of ping with the matchup we have today. As Soma taking that hook, we hear the eruption screams on the far generator as well. As we do catch eyes on, I don't quite know who that was. I think it was Nia rotating up Gallows kind of in front of our face here. As with this hook, I imagine we just go possibly Pop Goes the Weasel, another generator.
It was Nancy, yeah. She's dropping off of Gallows now, I think heading towards the main building. And yeah, just choosing to commit here. I think, I mean, Nancy is fresh, I believe. Nancy is our last fresh stage. A hook on her would be a win. We're currently right under the win con, barely making it. And we are chasing the Meg here. I mean, actually, any down would be a win, right, Cyber? Because we are at 3 fresh, and with the penalty, that would be there's the down coming through now. And Nia going on the hook. This will be a win for our killer here for Soma, Team Glacial. And yeah, getting the hook now. We have an extra pop refueled to maybe pop on that generator in the gallows area. And the first elimination coming through at 1 generator remaining. We're choosing to abandon this chase in the main and heading towards that gen. I think we maybe want to play for the best result now, which could possibly be a 4K1.
Yeah, with these survivors injured, with the pop goes the Weasel up now, but it doesn't look like our killer player cares about it, is we're just going to take the down onto Ace here, not able to rotate away from that Gallows area fast enough. As it looks like Hook going to be coming through here. Only survivor I think not known right now is Nancy. We'll see. Is that Nancy lurking around Gallows to either get on the deep corner gen? And oh, I think we found her lurking in a bush. Didn't quite blend in as much as I thought. Is that will be the M1 coming in? Soma again, just gonna not use that pop and instead want to just commit to these downs. I think the right play for them is they're gonna force that Nancy to trade their life. Is it now? Soma doesn't look like they want to pick that up. They just want to continue the slug. And maybe, yeah, like you said, get that 4K1 by slugging out these survivors, forcing them to rotate. And even if they do, that's the sloppy butcher that'll slow down those heals. But no, we find Meg not even rotating in. It seems like just cranking this gen. If they can make this fast, they know where everyone is right now.
Yeah, Ace once again has to play this unsafe window here, and actually choosing to slug, going back to the hook. We have, or to the slug, I suppose. There's no hook, but Meg rotated in for Nancy's pick, and we know she doesn't. Oh, is this? I don't think she has anything here. I don't think she has any pallets or anything like that. We did see some pallets, any means, earlier in the gallows area, but no pallets here to begin with. I think the pallet at 6 was dropped very early on in the trial, so unfortunately, um, nothing for the survivor to work with here. And Nancy taking the last chase. Yeah, this pallet here was definitely any means. I remember that getting dropped earlier in the game. But yeah, very good stun by our Nancy. I don't think it matters too much though. We are going to be taking chase, our last chase of the game in the deep gallows area. This will be a 4K1.
Yeah. Very well played by our survivors early, having some very strong early chases, denying those hits. And then a very good play with the flip flop to deny the first hook, even. But a very good recovery by our killer Soma here in getting those fast downs when they needed them, getting those pops up to make sure those gens in those gallows areas didn't quite pop for the survivors. As it looks like now we're just going to be finding our last couple survivors on the ground here. As you know, you bring Noed, you don't even need it. You don't even make it to the end game sometimes. So that's, I feel like, the curse of the perk sometimes. You never quite get to see it in action.
A curse or a flex, I would say. Maybe a flex, but we are looking for the last survivor, Romeo, who I believe was slugged near Water Tower or yeah, there he is, at Edge Water Tower. We're gonna be taking the slug here and heading into the next match, which I believe is the Huntress set. We're gonna be back in on the Wrecker's Yard this time. Um, and yeah, I believe that was Glacial's pick, so we'll have to see Glacial on the killer to begin with. So stay tuned, everyone. Cyber and I will be right back. Welcome back to Dead by Dawn. We have a Huntress set this time on the Wrecker's Yard and Monica on the killer. That's Abstract from Team Glacial killing now, and an interesting build already I am spotting in the bottom right corner. Cyber, what do you think about that build?
I think that this Deep 9 totem is going to be very pivotal into this game. Either that is going to stay up as the Hex Ruin, or survivors will make the mistake of popping it, and that will be Pentimento. And I think Nia reacted a little too late to knowing that they were spotted here, as it looks like Monica going to go for kind of a back rev here. A great first hatchet there, as it looks like we're going to be running deeper into that corner. That could be a very questionable decision for survivors here, depending on what Monica chooses to do, as this is a hook. Oh, and it's gonna be right in front of the totem. Nia gets to sit here and stare at their totem, as we even have a hill in the shallow 9. You know, maybe checking for a little locker lurk, maybe a head-on play that was supposed to happen, but no, as we have a hill here. So I wouldn't be surprised if Monica is just going to choose to stand on it and throw their hatchets cross map. As we do catch, it looks like Noob wrapping here towards the truck. Unhook coming in quite early, actually, as goes for a little hatchet on the truck. Not going to be quite connecting. Great moves by Noob here. We'll see. As it looks like he's caught on the railing a little bit, as that will be their first tag coming in, and what may even be a little bit of a 2-tap here for Monica, as I think with that hook and the agitation, they'll be able to make it back to that hook position.
Yeah, we did not opt to go for a pain res hook the first time around. We do see, I think, oh my goodness, Ruin got cleansed. We're going to be taking a pain res now. And if we choose to put that totem up, it's going to be a pentimento and a pain res with the regression and a hook next to it as well. And a hill. This is Hunter's stream right here. This is this is exactly what every Huntress player wants in a Huntress set, especially especially with these fast downs coming through. These have been very, very, very well played by Monica, these chases. And she's probably just gonna sit in the area and not leave, I would expect. We probably see some gen progress. I haven't seen Romeo in a while. I know that Nancy most likely got the unhook earlier, so maybe less gen progress from her, but I mean, we are still at 5 generators. I would expect one to pop pretty soon, but that Pentimento is hurting.
1,000,000%. As now, the only worry that if you were Monica right now that I would have in my head is that if a survivor, whoever got that unhook, is still lurking in that area, because we didn't quite see them leave the area. Oh, as we catch eyes on Rainfall, as if they hit the shot, that would be insane. As they were lurking, as that'll be the unhook coming in onto Noob here, difference, making that fast. As, oh, I don't know if they spotted them going in the locker, if that was just for a reload, but that will be an immediate hook onto difference here as another pain risk coming in onto presumably that rainfall generator up towards the bus here. As it looks like aiming, trying to get this angle for a snipe. Not quite seeing rainfall. Going to choose to just be putting the hatchet down. Nope, going to be choosing to lob one over the rock. Not going to be quite connecting. As I think we might have seen a crow go up around the truck. So I think that Ada is still lurking pretty close by. As, yeah, this is just, now we see the Nia. This is going to be a shooting gallery if we can connect this. 2 hatchets left. Are we going to be able to connect it? Holding the hatchet, trying to see if we can get LOS on this one. Looks like they aren't going to be firing it. They're just going to be holding this.
Yeah, I mean, I swear there's an angle in that gen that you can work without getting shot, right? Maybe from the backside and then just go around the rock every time you shoot. But I think Nia choosing to maybe dodge every time, and we do see the unhook coming through. Abstract does not care though. She wants to stop this generator from popping, is going to be heading towards this area 12. Checking out the bus. Nia is here injured. We hear her injured noises and going to be chasing. This is very, very unsafe for a survivor against the Huntress. Doing a good job though of just dropping that pallet, getting this done the right direction as well. It's going to be heading into the map. We are a bit zoned towards the one corner there. There's nothing over here. Nia, unfortunately, for her, does not find anything, and no pallets, no edge map, anything like that. Not even a Z-wall in sight, and that's going to be another hook onto our Nia player. Yeah, we haven't really been tunneling too much. We haven't been eliminating one player, but it's actually working for Monica here.
Yeah, I will say that these survivors have been doing a very good job at punishing these timings of the Huntress leaving or reloading. As right as the Huntress Monica overcommitted towards that one area, they both got the unhook and popped that Pentimento totem as we see 2 generators popping. These survivors are on top of their stuff, even though these chases aren't particularly lasting that long here. As it looks like we do have eyes on Romeo here, crossing that map. As I think Monica has an idea that there's an injured survivor back here. No, it doesn't look like an injured survivor. I think that is a healthy survivor in her Claudette. We'll see. Are we going to go in for the unhook? Whoever is going for that, if it's not Romeo, who we see over there, is going to be injured, which means they are at the threat of Monica just kind of spinning around and throwing that hatchet at them before they even get through that animation.
This is a very, very dangerous unhook for Nancy to try to go for. I'm a little bit worried for her. She was rotating 12 side of the map, trying to get the unhook from there, but she is injured. She has Iron Will though, so maybe some consolation. And she actually gets it. She actually gets that pull there. Abstract choosing to get the borrowed time hit onto Nia, and it actually works. She's gonna be dying edge map. We do miss the swing there for a second, maybe a result of that BT haste, but regardless, that's going to be a quick down in the 2 corner of the map. And I'm pretty sure this is an elimination, our first elimination of the game at 2 generators. But I mean, oh, and a pain res as well. I don't think she got pain res the first 2 times either, so that's going to be a bit of gen regression as well. We do see Ruin and Pentimento completely gone by now at this point in the game. There is no more hexes to worry about for the survivors, are only perks now are agitation and our scare check pain res. And at the moment, I believe we're chasing I think this is Claudette here. Oh no, it's actually, yeah, it's Ada in the deep 9 area, and she is a bit zoned. She has 1 pallet to work with, and that's going to be dropped pretty fast.
Yeah, only 1 pain res left, and I'm pretty sure that is going to be on Romeo or Claudette, as that is a very good last hatchet for Monica here to get this down fast. As this will be a hook on a pain res, but I don't, as I said, I think theirs was already used, so this won't be any regression for the killer. As it looks like we might come in here for the reload now, yeah. As I think Monica's in a pretty good spot here to just play aggressively and just keep chasing these survivors. Huntress has a pretty good chase time. You're able to get those hatchets on target at least. And it looks
Mhm.
like they do have a lot of pressure though, as if whoever was here cannot get found and they get the Sun Hook at the same time, these survivors can put themselves in a pretty good spot then to possibly pop these generators and maybe get someone out of the trial. As we see that other gen very far has a lot of progress, yeah, and that will be popping as well. We'll see. Are these survivors going to possibly just let Noob die on hook and try to crank out this last generator?
Yeah, that survivor who was working the gen at one did a good job of pre-leaving or pre-stealthing. Most likely our Nancy player, as she did have Iron Will, and I believe Romeo was in the area of the other gen. Yeah, we do see Nancy now playing this bus here, and this Huntress, I think this pallet already got dropped as well, so even more unsafe. But I'm a bit impressed that the survivors managed to get to 4K1 here. I think a result of not having an early elimination. Um, but yeah, Nancy's gonna be going down now through the vault there, through the Z wall, and just choosing to slug for now. The unhook did come through. Very, very good rotation by the Claudette to get that Ada unhooked, and no line of sight there. She did duck into that tiled mid nine, and I think we actually want to look for our Claudette. We want to get eyes on both survivors. Ada, oh my goodness, that was a dangerous gen to work. We do see our Claudette stealthing by the most progress generator at one with urban evasion now. Um, and I would be surprised if Monica does not find her.
As I
Yeah.
think we hear her grunts of pain as this will be her down. And like you said, yeah, very well played by the survivors to get down to that 4K1 here. As a very common strategy for Huntress is to get that down, ideally on like your if you have ruin like a ruin totem or something like that, and then just camp it out and play for a 3v1 super early. Monica not opting to do that, but survivors being very on top of their rotations to get this on hook, and very well played by Monica. All pretty fast chases, I would say. Not really missing any hatchets, pretty on target. The only ones that really missed were the just shooting gallery ones at one. But when they mattered, at least on hitting people pretty close by, I think everything quite hit.
hmm Yeah, that's gonna wrap up our set. We're gonna see Glacial on the Survivor in the next round, and I think Desperate on the Killer. So yeah, stay tuned, everyone. We will be right back.
Hello and welcome back to our second half of the Huntress set, Glacial's pick. We have Rainfall on Killer against Soma, Nick, Yusuke, and Clownfish. Our Killer on the Glacial side got a 4K1 last time, so we will see if Rainfall is going to be able to get a better result to force us to that tiebreaker Ghostface set. Julia, what are your thoughts on how the survivors have to try to pop all these gens to get that win con to take this 2-0?
We need a fast chase here. We need a fast chase, and we need maybe a basement hook, some good hook locations here to get the 4K1 or 4K2. And this is Nick taking first chase. Nick's going to be tagged here, I'm pretty sure. Probably just, oh, it's an M1 actually heading into the shack, instantly dropping that shack pallet, playing it safe. And I think we might be, yeah, we're just leaving him for now, leaving him going towards deep three. I don't know if anyone's over here, but we're looking in the area. Yeah, looking for some survivors who might have rotated from the other side of the map. And we saw the Hex Totem also get popped in the meantime. Ruin gone at 5 generators, but we do get an injury to trade off for it.
Comparatively, though, we do not have that Pentimento this time for our Killer. Rainfall opted for the Eruption and probably a bit more of a safer option, I'd say. But Yusuke going to be found taking a hatchet. We'll see. Are they going to be able to make it to wrap around Shack or anything? Oh, good dodge by them. Going to be able to make it around the Shack, but no pallet to be used at theirs. Nick already dropped it. We'll see. Are they going to be able to make it to this 6th tile now? Holding the hatchet. Rain going to be not quite connecting on that one. Yusuke not going for the pallet. Interesting. Going to choose to be greeting it, and it looks like that will be probably a down around the pallet. As this will be presumably our first hook coming in. Now let's see. Will we choose to go basement with it? And it does look like Rain wants to go basement. No threat of a pallet save at the shack. Like I said, it was used earlier, so this will be a pretty good hook spot for our Killer to start.
Agitation helping us out a little bit. I'm not sure if we would have made the basement or not, probably. But it does help anyways. And we are going to be reloading in the basement and heading out. This is a very dangerous hook for the survivors. And I hope they have some gen progress to speak for it. We do see a heal coming through, so we at least took some time to reset Nick here. And we see a bit of progress on this gen, but not too much. There is Eruption being applied now. We did see Ruin get cleansed, like I said, so Eruption is available to our killer now. And just shooting gallery time at this gen at 1. This might be the highest progress gen. I'm not totally sure, but I think that was Clownfish working on it, and he is in the deep 3 area now.
Looks like Rain wants to play in kind of this mid area, pushing Nick and Clownfish off the generators, just lobbing shots at them, seeing if anything connects. Because if one does connect, that survivor basically can't work that gen anymore because they need to just play safe. You can't really risk giving a down just for free to the killer while they're kind of semi-camping that hook. Is like you said, that basement is a very good position for our killer. It's very hard to get out of that, and because we know where 2 of these survivors are, it's not going to be a double save, which means it'll likely be a trade if that does come in.
Yeah, heading towards the deep 3 area, it looks like there is a bit of progress on this generator. Clownfish, we saw rotate over here earlier, and most likely the one working on this generator now. Yeah, we are chasing Jake Park now. Yusuke does go second in the basement, though, and there is a very good chance that the survivors are letting him die. But if Clownfish is being committed to deep 3, we might see a rotation come through. I'm not totally sure. It's still a very dangerous unhook to get for the survivors. Huntress known for how good she is at camping, and when it's the basement hook, it's even better. We do see the first gen popping though, and I mean 4 gens, 1 person almost death hook. This could actually be possible for our killer to win.
Yeah, and catching Nick at this generator, I think he's still behind that rock, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he made it all the way over here. I think he was just walking around the rock. And yeah, Nick gonna be just running around this. We'll see. I'm presuming an M1 come in. Unhook coming in onto Yusuke, though. Presumably Soma, who popped that first generator, who rotated in. As it doesn't look like Rainfall cares, though. Rain just wants to commit to this chase. There's no pallet over here. But we do have limited hatchets left to try to speed up this chase. But nonetheless, I think it looks like our killer is going to just choose to M1 down this here, get those eruption procs on those generators, and maybe even take a pain res.
Yeah, we heard a Hanato scream in the distance. We do have a very, very convenient pain res here, Deep 9. And yeah, probably hit that gen top side of the map that Hanato was working earlier. Yeah, I do see some sparks on it in the distance. And this is Ace now working this generator. Ace is injured and deathhook. I'm a little bit worried for him. If the killer does find him, it would be a very early 3v1. And I would not be surprised if Rainfall actually wants to search for him now. We are kind of heading in the area that we saw him on Spectator, and this was Clownfish's gen, but Rainfall was kind of in the area. Are we fighting? Yes, we found Rainfall in the corner. This is a death at 4 gens in that case, but we do see on the HUD that Clownfish is about to pop another generator at least, but still, I mean, still possible, still possible. I'm not sure.
Yeah, this is really, I'd say, anyone's game right now. As with a death at 3, it is very possible for a killer player to get a 4K at 2 or 1 to try to take us to that next set. And for our survivors, if you play this slow and patient enough, it is definitely possible for you to pop all these gens to take that win for yourself. So very intrigued to see how this one plays out. As Rain gonna just be reloading, we see the heal come in onto Nick all the way across the map. We know that Unhook was. But it looks like Rain doesn't want to go back towards them. They want to kind of find who maybe popped this gen, presumably. Well, we know it was Clownfish, but Rain does not know that. As it looks like, though, not going to be quite finding anyone here, as we see our survivors stealthing pretty far away. It seems like respecting that TR and that lullaby as the killer comes ever closer. As we see a crow landing, though, are we going to be able to pick up off that, where the survivor rotated probably towards that 9 area? As we do have the blast mine coming in, Huntress going to be stunned at that generator. If this killer can find them while they're stealthing, that'll put them in a very good position.
Yeah, these generators at the top side of the map are very lethal for the survivors. We don't have any exhaustion really to help us get out of this area. Life and Sprint Burst are not on this set. And there is a bus window you could life, so that would be possibly an out for the survivors if you had it. But yeah, nothing really to help us out of that area. And we do see Hanato, that's Soma on the survivor taking chase at this. Ooh. Oh, yeah, I was about to say that's probably a stun there. And does get a very good stun on our Huntress player. She does not pull up her hatchet in time and gonna be just choosing to leave for now, heading back towards the top side. That gen's still sparking, which means the other 2 survivors probably working some other generators, maybe deep 3. I think we're gonna go investigate it now. I'm not totally sure. I think clownfish, yeah, clownfish in this area are gonna be taking chase now.
They do seem to be stuck at a pretty, I'd say, weak pallet. So there should be a tag coming in, yeah, on a clownfish here. Clownfish trying to take that speed boost away to something, but not a whole lot there. Just kind of some garbage piles to juke and dodge around. We'll see. Are they going to make it around this hill? Huntress holding that hatchet patiently. Clown knows if they dodge anywhere farther into that LOS, that will be their demise. So instead, just going to choose to make it to the corner and wrap a rock till their death. As I think we did hear another Hanato scream, probably towards that 11-cent generator here. But I don't think Clown was pained before, so this will be another pain res on a gen.
Hmm. Yeah, our third pain res coming through. And some pretty hefty regression this game. I think we saw Pentimento in the last game, and we've actually been getting some value out of our other prigs this time, Eruption in particular, and we're heading straight back towards 11. Yeah, Hinata was working that generator over here. I think pre-stealthing a little bit off of it just to try to not give any info or any tags or anything like that, doing a very good job. And blast mining. I'm going to assume that blast mine is on our Hanato Lyra here and is choosing to use it on this gen in particular. And Rainfall, checking out this area 12, looking maybe for the stealth. I don't think this is where he was stealthing though. But yeah, Soma doing a very, very good job. I think Soma is also our last fresh hook. So just doing a good job of avoiding tags this game. And we know that there was an unhook coming through, and it looks like we're just opting to kick this gen instead of pressuring out the unhookers or the reset.
Yeah, Huntress just wants to choose to be safer by choosing to keep monitoring these generators. You know, they have to play for that 4K to win here. As we see some scratch marks towards the 6 side here, presumably either the person who was unhooked and healed or the person who had done the unhooking and healing. As we'll see if we are able to find them lurking around here. As it looks like we're not going to quite follow up on those scratch marks here. Choosing to go back to our generators here. We're really, I think, trying to find whoever has been laying these blast mines. You know, I feel that as the Huntress. You just keep going back to these generators. You never find that survivor, and you just keep eating blast mines. We'll see if we are going to eat a third this game so far. But we do find scratch marks towards this other gen, Deep 9 here. And it looks like the survivor had pre-left a decent bit ago. So pretty safe positioning by them. As if you're the survivor, this is what you need to do. You need to not be giving these tags, leaving super early, and make the Huntress overcommit to a bad part of the map if they want those downs.
Yeah, all three survivors in this 3v1 have been doing a phenomenal job of pre-leaving. And like you said, exactly what you need to do in this situation. We do see some scratch marks kind of heading back into this area. Nick, very, very zoned edge 9 by this rock. And I think this might be a very, very fast tag onto our Nancy player. Yeah, he does get M2'd here, just taking the M2 and heading towards the tile 9. Does manage to dodge out the second M2 there, though. If this is a down, this would be an eruption, but oh my goodness, he does miss the shot there, and the second gen pops for it. That was a crucial shot to dodge. And this is the tie condition now. We're gonna have to see if we can maybe overcome the tie here. But oh my goodness, this palette proving to be very, very difficult for Rainfall. I think difficult for hunters in general, of course. And yeah, Nick just doing a good job here and does go down. Eventually loses that palette. Rainfall doing a good job of respecting there and possibly just gonna hook in his gens. We might have a kind of a third gen. Okay, not really a third gen, but we do have at least a deep 9 hook that we can hook on here and guard pretty well. But yeah, that generator at 1 is a bit of a death trap, like I said earlier. So even though it's not much of a 3 gen, these gens are still very unsafe.
Yeah, what I would imagine our survivors do is whoever is going to work that one generator will be just playing super safe, as we already see Clownfish leaving the gen, but kind of stuck here away from the tiles. This would, I imagine, be a tag coming in. No, not going to be quite connecting onto that lagging hitbox of the survivor. Unhook happening in across the map, as we're going to take our eruption now. As the Huntress, I don't know quite what your best course of action is, because the survivors are either going to reset across the map, or they might just even double stack that generator and just kind of hope that if you commit. And yeah, we already see Clownfish going back to that generator that we just got eruption on, and it looks like the survivor's not going to be quite working that generator, but we also haven't seen the heal come through just yet, so I'm very intrigued to see what they're playing for right now. And as I spoke, of course, the heal comes in. Well, now I imagine we're going to be double stacking with Clownfish playing this solo generator over here.
Yeah, given how safe the survivors have been playing so far, I was about to say there's no way they don't take the heal here. That is most definitely the safest option. Stacking the generator could work, to be fair, but a little bit more risky. And Clownfish taking the M2 there, going into this kind of a dead zone area. I don't think he has much to work with. It is going to be a down. We do see eruption on the gen, but I don't think that's the generator that the survivors are working on. And Rainfall choosing to slug now. Yeah, we do see the survivors were doubling this 9 gen, and I don't know if Rainfall saw our Hanato, but I think we saw it from spectator POV. And oh my goodness, that was a very, very fast 2-tap onto our Nancy, and we're looking for the third survivor. He is heading towards the pickup onto Jake, booking it towards deep 9 or yeah, deep 3, sorry. And yeah, there's the unhook coming through at the hill. And oh my gosh, Clownfish taking a hatchet to the face, and that might be game actually, Cyber. It really depends on Soma here.
Yeah, with Soma and Chase, we're gonna take that reload, so we have more than one hatchet left. As I think the only thing you do right now is try to stealthy for Soma, but Huntress is gonna be finding it. As it looks like, yeah, our Huntress is gonna choose to play extremely safe here, not take any hatchets that basically aren't on top of our survivor here. As that will be the down on the Soma, and as long as all these hooks come through, I think there might be a fresh survivor. Not quite sure who it's on, but a fresh survivor. And nope, it was on Soma because we saw our last pain res gets consumed here. As with that, I think that is time. So that would be, yeah, match win for Glacial. So they will be taking that then. No tiebreaker.
Very impressive though by Rainfall, to be honest, to get those last couple. But we do, yeah, we're gonna be finding our slugs now. Nick is the only survivor on the ground. And I think he was hooked in this area somewhere. I think Rainfall's sniffing him out now, and we'll have to see where he ended up. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up this Huntress set. I don't think we're going into the ghost face. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but ghost face sets tend to be a bit long, so maybe a good thing for us. But yeah, unfortunately for Desperate, not gonna be going into the tiebreaker. And yeah, GG's to both teams. Very, very well played though at the end there.
Yeah, game definitely could have swung either way with a very early death for Rainfall and Killer, but a very disciplined play by survivors here to recover that, to get enough generators pop to take the set nonetheless. As yeah, GG's to both teams, as we are going to find Nick here and maybe get a Mori just to close out here from our Huntress.
GG's. We're gonna have some more games this weekend. I believe we also have a game tomorrow. That's I will be casting. I don't believe Cyber is casting. But yeah, stay tuned. Or are you casting that, Cyber? I'm not totally sure actually.
I am, I actually think.
Oh, okay. Okay, well then Cyber and I will be back tomorrow, so stay tuned for that and the rest of this weekend, everyone. Thank you for watching.